What the fuck?
Put
your clothes on!
You gonna catch them on you.
Put your clothes on! Get out the street! Gee, that's Kenneka Jenkins' fucking mama. That shit is crazy. Oh shit. Y'all, that's Kenneka Jenkins OG. Like, she been outside bad, shorty. Damn.
8 years after her daughter froze to death in a hotel freezer, Teresa Martin just broke her silence with explosive claims. She says she was tricked, forced into a room for hours, and made to accept money in exchange for her silence about what really happened to 19-year-old Kenneka Jenkins. But here's the twist. A former ally, someone who stood by her side through protests and pain, is now calling her a liar and threatening to expose what he says is the real truth. Tonight, we're diving deep into one of Chicago's most haunting mysteries, where a mother's quest for answers collides with accusations of betrayal, missing evidence, and a death that still doesn't make sense. Before we dive in, if you're new to One Crime at a Time, hit that like button, smash subscribe, and click that bell icon so you never miss an update on cases like this one. Trust me, you're going to want to follow this story. Let's go back to where it all began. September 8th, 2017. A Friday night in Chicago. Kenneka Jenkins was 19 years old, full of life, and excited about going to a party with friends. She borrowed her mother Teresa's car that night, leaving the house at 11:30 p.m. It was supposed to be a fun night, just another party at the Crowne Plaza Hotel near O'Hare Airport in Rosemont, Illinois. Room 926. Friends. Music. The kind of night any teenager looks forward to. Kenneka arrived at the hotel around 1:13 in the morning on Saturday, September 9th. Everything seemed normal at first. She was with her friends, enjoying herself, probably taking photos, laughing, doing what young people do at parties. But then, somewhere between the laughter and the music, something went terribly wrong. At 3:20 in the morning, hotel surveillance cameras captured something disturbing. Kenneka was seen near the front desk, but she wasn't walking normally. She was staggering, visibly intoxicated, struggling to keep her balance. You could see it in the footage, the way she moved, almost like she wasn't fully in control of her own body. 5 minutes later, at 3:25 a.m., another camera caught her leaving an elevator, still unsteady, still alone. Then came the footage that would haunt everyone who saw it. 3:32 a.m. The final time Kenneka Jenkins was captured alive on camera. She's seen arriving at the hotel kitchen, a restricted area where guests aren't supposed to be. She rounds a corner, heading toward the freezer. And then nothing. She vanishes from the cameras and from the world. Around 4 in the morning, Kenneka's friends started to panic. They couldn't find her. They called her phone. No answer. They searched the hotel. Nothing. Then they did what any concerned friend would do. They called her mother. Imagine being Teresa Martin, getting that call in the middle of the night. Your daughter went to a party, borrowed your car, and now her friends are saying they can't find her. The fear that must have gripped her heart in that moment. Teresa rushed to the hotel, demanding answers, demanding that staff help search for her daughter. But here's where things get even more disturbing. It took nearly 24 hours before anyone found Kenneka. 24 hours. A full day passed while a 19-year-old girl lay in a freezer in that hotel. A hotel worker finally discovered her body on Sunday morning, September 10th, 2017, inside a latched freezer in the kitchen. The medical examiner's report came back with a conclusion that left more questions than answers. They ruled Kenneka's death accidental. The official cause? Hypothermia. She had frozen to death in that industrial freezer.
Ain't no way. Ain't no way. How did this close?
Right.
Ain't no way.
Right.
How did she shut herself?
Because we don't shut ours. We leave it open.
Yeah. But she couldn't shut this if she wanted to. Look how it's made. Mm-hmm. Ain't no way for her to shut this unless she come back down and shut it.
But it wasn't just the cold that killed her. The autopsy revealed that Kenneka had alcohol in her system, a blood alcohol level of 0.112, over the legal limit. She also had topiramate in her system, a medication typically used to treat seizures and migraines. The combination of alcohol and this medication, according to the medical examiner, hastened the effects of hypothermia. In simple terms, she was so intoxicated and affected by the drug that she couldn't get herself out, couldn't fight the cold, couldn't save her own life. But if you're thinking this explanation feels incomplete, you're not alone. Teresa Martin never believed the official story, and neither did thousands of people who followed this case. Let me paint you a picture of what doesn't add up here. How does an intoxicated 19-year-old girl gain access to a restricted kitchen area in a hotel? These aren't areas that guests can just wander into. There are usually doors, sometimes locked, sometimes marked as staff only. How did Kenneka get past all of that? And once she was in that kitchen, how did she end up inside an industrial walk-in freezer? Here's something that makes it even stranger. These freezers, the ones used in commercial kitchens, they're not like your refrigerator at home. They're massive, heavy doors. And while many people assumed it locked from the outside, these freezers typically can be opened from the inside. There's usually a safety release. So why couldn't Kenneka get out? Was she so intoxicated that she couldn't find the release? Was she too affected by the medication to think clearly? Or was something else going on that night? The surveillance footage raised even more questions. Yes, we see Kenneka walking toward the kitchen. Yes, she's clearly intoxicated. But there's no camera that actually shows her entering the freezer. There's a gap, a blind spot. And in true crime, gaps and blind spots are where theories grow. Social media exploded with speculation. People analyzed every frame of that footage. They pointed out what they thought were inconsistencies. Some claimed they saw other people in the shadows. Others questioned why her friends left her alone when she was clearly in no state to take care of herself. The hashtag Justice for Kenneka trended across Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Thousands demanded answers. Protests erupted outside the hotel. People wanted to know what the Rosemont police were doing, what the hotel knew, and why it took so long to find her. In December 2018, Teresa Martin, along with Kenneka's siblings, filed a $50 million lawsuit. They weren't just suing the hotel. They went after the Crown Plaza, a security company, the restaurant that leased the kitchen space, and a party promoter. The lawsuit accused them of negligence. They argued that the hotel failed to properly secure the kitchen area. That security didn't respond appropriately when Kenneka was reported missing. That if they had acted faster, searched more thoroughly, maybe Kenneka would still be alive. The case dragged on for years. Legal battles, depositions, arguments over responsibility and liability. And during all of this, Teresa Martin became the face of a grieving mother demanding justice. She appeared at rallies. She spoke to media. She kept her daughter's name alive, refusing to let Kenneka become just another statistic, another young black woman whose death got swept under the rug. But then something shifted. In 2023, the lawsuit was settled. Not for $50 million, for $10 million. To many, it seemed like a victory, a substantial settlement, an acknowledgement of wrongdoing, even if it wasn't an admission of guilt. The breakdown of the settlement revealed that Teresa Martin received more than $3.7 million. Two other family members received $1.5 million and $1.2 million. Attorney fees took up more than $3.5 million, and about $6,000 went toward burial costs. The case was closed, or so everyone thought. Fast forward to November 21st, 2025. 8 years after Kenneka died, Teresa Martin posted something on Facebook that sent shockwaves through everyone who had followed this case. She claimed that she was tricked, that she was forced into accepting that settlement, that she was coerced, held in rooms for hours, and not allowed to leave until she said what they wanted her to say and accepted what they wanted to give her. Let me read you some of her exact words because they're powerful. She wrote, "I still don't know what happened to my child's life. Clothes, shoes, cell phone, hair, and the list goes on. I have been promised lies, as if once this case is over, I was forced to never talk about my child again." Think about that for a second. She took the settlement. She got the money, but she says she still doesn't have her daughter's belongings. The cell phone that could have shown who Kenneka was talking to that night, what apps she was using, what her last messages were. The clothes she was wearing, which could have been tested for evidence. Her shoes. Even her hair. None of it was returned to her family. And if you're wondering why that matters, imagine trying to find closure when you don't even have the most basic personal items that belong to your child. Teresa went on to say, "I will be getting sued because I was tricked, but they will get me answers. Give me her clothes and her cell phone and anything that belongs to her when she died that was on her body." She's basically saying she knows speaking out violates the terms of her settlement. She knows there could be legal consequences. But she's willing to risk it because she wants answers. She wants her daughter's belongings. She wants the truth. Now here's where this story takes a dark turn. Remember Jedediah Brown? He's a Chicago activist who stood alongside Teresa Martin during those protests back in 2017. He organized rallies. He amplified her voice. He was by all accounts an ally. But after Teresa's Facebook post, Jedediah Brown came out with his own statement, and it was scathing. He posted, and I'm quoting here, "I'm drinking, I'll admit, but I can't believe this lady intentionally would reinforce lies she knows aren't true when that wasn't a condition of her selling out her own seed." He called her a witch. He said he protected her all these years, even when he found out what she was actually doing. And then he said, "No more, Teresa. I'm about to tell on you. You gave up justice for temporary pleasure." Let that sink in. A former ally is now calling Teresa a liar. He's accusing her of selling out her own daughter for money. He's threatening to expose what he claims is the real truth. So now we have a situation where a mother is saying she was coerced and forced into silence, and a former supporter is saying she's lying and that she willingly took the money and gave up the fight for justice. Who do you believe? That's the question everyone's asking right now. And it gets even more concerning. Just recently, in December 2025, video footage started circulating online showing Teresa Martin walking the streets of Chicago during the brisk winter, completely naked. In the video, you can hear her crying out justice for Kenneka and justice for all. People who saw the footage were alarmed. This isn't just about a legal dispute anymore. This is about a woman who appears to be in serious mental distress. Her surviving daughter has expressed support for her, but it's clear that Teresa is struggling deeply 8 years after losing Kenneka. So where does that leave us? We have a death that was ruled accidental, but feels anything but. We have missing evidence that was never returned to the family. We have a mother who says she was tricked into settling. We have a former ally who says she's lying. We have a 24-hour delay in finding a body in a hotel. We have footage that shows an intoxicated teenager wandering into a restricted area, but no camera showing her actually entering the freezer. We have alcohol and a prescription medication in her system that may or may not explain everything. And we have a mother who, 8 years later, is still crying out for justice in the middle of winter streets. The Rosemont police have even admitted that the investigation was incomplete. Incomplete. That's the word they used. So what does that mean? What leads weren't followed? What questions weren't asked? What evidence wasn't collected? Let me ask you something, and I want you to really think about this. Why would a mother who received nearly $4 million in a settlement suddenly risk everything by speaking out? Is it guilt? Is it grief that never healed? Is it the realization that money can't replace answers? Or is it possible that she's telling the truth, that she was pressured, manipulated, and forced into accepting a settlement that she never truly wanted? And on the other side, why would a former ally, someone who fought alongside her, suddenly turn on her so viciously? Is Jedediah Brown trying to expose the truth? Or is there something else going on? Is this about justice, or is this about ego, about money, about control? Here's the psychological reality of cases like this. When someone dies under mysterious circumstances, the people left behind don't just grieve.
Come, bitch. Come on. I double you.
They fracture. Families turn on each other. Allies become enemies. The search for truth becomes clouded by suspicion, by desperation, by the need to blame someone, anyone. And sometimes the real answers get lost in all of that noise. Teresa Martin has spent 8 years living with questions. 8 years without her daughter's cell phone. Without her clothes. Without the basic items that might give her some sense of closure. Whether you believe her claims about being coerced or not, you have to acknowledge the psychological toll of losing a child and never getting clear answers. The human mind can only take so much before it starts to break. And maybe that's what we're seeing now. But here's what we know for certain. A 19-year-old girl walked into a hotel for a party and ended up frozen to death in a kitchen freezer. The official explanation is accidental death caused by hypothermia, hastened by alcohol and medication. But the gaps, the missing evidence, the delayed response, the incomplete investigation, those things don't go away just because there was a settlement. Those questions remain, and they deserve answers. So I'm turning this over to you. What do you think happened to Kenneka Jenkins that night? Do you believe Teresa Martin's claims that she was coerced into the settlement? Or do you think Jedediah Brown is right, that she took the money and is now trying to rewrite history? And bigger than that, do you think this case was properly investigated, or was it rushed to a conclusion that left too many questions unanswered? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's have a real conversation about this. Hit that like button if you think this story needed to be told. Share this video with anyone you feel needs to see and hear this story. And make sure you turn on that notification bell right on your screen, because I'll be bringing you more factual updates on this case and others like it. This isn't over. Not by a long shot. If you found this case as gripping and mysterious as I did, visit the channel to watch this next. We have more unsolved cases, more stories of families still searching for truth, more mysteries that refuse to be forgotten. Cases like this one that make you question everything you thought you knew about justice. Click on the screen right now, and let's dive into another one together. Because here at One Crime at a Time, we don't just tell stories. We search for truth. And we never stop asking questions.